you know you need to do it. The task, the call, the message, the decision you've been carrying for days. But instead, you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And in that moment, you feel a small sense of relief. Not because the task is gone, but because the pressure is. And somehow, tomorrow keeps getting pushed further away. This isn't laziness, and it isn't a lack of discipline. There's something more human happening underneath. Most people who postpone things don't wake up wanting to avoid their responsibilities. They start the day with intention. Today feels possible. Today feels like a fresh start. But as the day unfolds, the task begins to feel heavier. Not because it suddenly became harder, but because starting it brings discomfort. So the mind looks for distance. And postponing becomes the easiest way to create that distance. What's really happening here isn't about time management. It's about emotional management. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. Protection from uncertainty, from self-doubt, from the risk of doing something imperfectly. Sometimes even from success, because success brings expectations and change. So, instead of facing the emotion, your mind delays the action. The task stays undone, and the uncomfortable feeling is postponed. For a while. Often, the task itself is simple. Send the email. Start the document. Make the appointment. But the emotion attached to it is what creates resistance, responsibility, pressure, fear of being judged, fear of not meeting your own standards. Your brain links the task to emotional weight. And when emotions feel heavy, the brain searches for relief. Postponement becomes that relief. That's why saying, tomorrow feels calming in the moment. It gives your mind room to breathe. It removes the urgency from now, but the task doesn't disappear. It stays in the background, quietly occupying mental space. That's why procrastination often feels tiring. Even on days when nothing gets done, you feel exhausted. Not from action, but from carrying unfinished things. People who postpone tasks are not careless. They're often thoughtful. They care about outcomes. They want to do things properly. Many of them have high standards. And those standards can make starting feel emotionally expensive. This isn't a personal flaw. It's a coping strategy. If you want to work with this pattern, rather than fight it, the first step is to reduce the emotional weight. And the simplest way to do that is to start smaller than you think you should. When a task feels too big, your mind treats it like a threat. So don't focus on finishing it. Focus on making it feel safe. Not complete the task, but open the document. Write one sentence. Spend 5 or 10 minutes. Small steps don't demand courage. They invite movement. And movement changes how the brain responds. It also helps to make progress visible. When you complete a small step, pause. Notice it. Let your mind register that something moved forward. That moment of recognition is important. You can even reward yourself, not as a bribe and not as pressure, but as reinforcement, because the brain learns through experience. When progress feels manageable and effort feels acknowledged, the urge to postpone slowly weakens. Overcoming procrastination isn't about becoming stricter with yourself. It's not about forcing discipline or criticizing your behavior. It's about understanding what your mind is protecting you from and responding with clarity instead of judgment. Sometimes productivity doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with compassion, one small step, one manageable moment, one day at a time. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. This channel explores the quiet patterns behind everyday behavior. If you'd like more reflections like this, you can subscribe. And if this video resonated, feel free to share it with someone who keeps saying tomorrow. Sometimes understanding is the first step forward.